Namaskar friends, keep learning with Export Import Make in India campaign. And today in the session we will understand the similarities between export and import. Okay, so we'll cover one by one. The first is involvement in global trade. So we can understand the both import and export. Okay, the movement of goods and movement of service across the international borders. This is comes under the global trade. Like in export, we dispatch goods to the our country like a goods sell to the other country, and against that we receive payment. Okay, in case of import, we buy the product from other country and make payment to other country. So in both case the goods and services are going to cross border. Okay, so that's why it's come under the global trade. Now documentation requirement. So in case of both export and import, need the invoice, commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading, custom declaration, and certificate of origin. So both case, this is require the documentations. Okay, but procedure of documentation is different because in case of import, the supplier will send this document: invoice, packing list, bill of lading, custom declaration, and certificate of origin. But in case of export, we need to prepare this document. Okay. Now, custom compliance. So, in both cases, export and import are subjected to the compliance regulation like a duty, taxes, and respective country. Okay, while importing any goods in India, we need to make a duty. In the same way, in export, we need to make the custom duty. But if you export under LUT, then there is no duty need to pay. Okay, so these are the compliance of the custom. Then, logistic and transportation. So in both cases, export and import, we require that logistic transportation. Okay, like we need a freight forwarder, a shipping lines, and transport provider. Okay, for the smooth movement of the goods. For example, you are importing the goods from China to India. So in this case, the we need a shipping lines. So we'll move the good from China to Indian port. Then we need custom house agent that will clear the goods at the seaport. Then by help of transport, these goods will deliver to our factory. Okay, so in the same way, in export case, we also require this shipping line, freight forward, and transport. Like when we dispose the goods from our factory, the goods will move by the transporter. Then this goods we will handle at the custom. After examination, these goods will move through the shipping lines, okay, by rail or other. So in this way, this shipping line, transportation, and CHN freight forwarder involved in both case. Okay, in logistic transportation. Okay. Now, financial transactions. Okay, so payment for both export and import transactions often involve the banking instrument like letter of credit, wire transfer, and currency exchange. Okay, in financial transaction, if we export the goods, then we receive the payment and we need to submit document to the bank. Okay, as a proof of export, then we receive payment. Okay, in the import, we receive the goods and we need to make payment. So we need help of the bank. Okay, so we submit the document against the payment. So in both cases, the financial transactions are involved. Now, regulatory approval in both may require the permit, licensing approval from the government authority for the restricted good. Okay, for example, we are importing restricted good, then we need to approval from the DGFT. If you are exporting the restricted good, then we need to approval from the DGFT. So in both cases, we need to permit license. Okay, approval from the government authority and for the restricted good. Now, supply chain coordination. So in both cases, in export and import, the supply chain coordination need to be done. Okay. For example, supply chain means that goods move from factory to destination. Okay. So in the both cases, like if we are hiring the freight forwarder, he will pick the goods and deliver. In case of import, in the same way, we are hiring the CHA freight forwarder, they will pick the goods and deliver to us. So in both cases, supply chain requires. So supply chain is not only the transportation, but the warehouses and the CFS and custom house clearing and the ISE, okay, inland haulage. This comes under the supply chain movement. Means supply chain is the chain which the goods will supply, and these coordinations come under import and export. So both require efficiently supply chain management to ensure timely delivery and the cost effectiveness. Then risk management. So in both cases, export and import, the risk is comes under. Okay, so risk such as exchange rate fluctuation. Okay, at the time of exporting the goods, if if we are going to export the goods, okay, then exchange rate is increased, so we receive higher value because that the dollar is converted in the INR, and this we receive in the high value. Okay, and then in case of import, exchange rate fluctuation is may loss, like if we are making payment to the supplier, because we buy the goods from China, so we are making to pay suppliers, China supplier. So for buying this dollar, we need to make payment. If exchange rate is high, then we need to make more money. Okay, so these are the exchange rate fluctuation comes under the risk management for the both export and import. Political instability. Okay, like a country like South Sudan and these countries are government is not stable. So exporting such country is very riskable. Like we are exporting good to the Sudan. Okay, but payment is not received. So you cannot claim to government that we are not receiving payment. We have dispatched the goods. Okay, because the government is unstable. But like in country like India, the government is always stable, so there is no issue such kind of. In the same way, importing case, if you are if you are importing goods from this African country, their government is not stable. Okay, so if we make the payment in the advance, but goods is not received to us, so due to the political instability, we cannot uh, we can claim for this that by government we have make payment the goods not, because the government is not stable. Okay, and then quality issue require this strategy to insurance to and hedging. Okay, in the both case quality risk also, that we dispatch good and quality is not as per the buyer, then it will be issue. Okay, insurance and hedging, like, so these are the important points which is similarities defined in between export and import. Okay, so guys, we are just going to end the session here. Thanks for watching the session.